my mobile, if you'd be so kind. Assuming I did this right. If you tell them it'll be in a different, it won't be in this session. I've got one person watching, I don't know who.
It'll be Mick. Mick is following us round.
Right. Now, if you come out of this, when you go on my page, you should see another stream. 5 people. Right, okay. Hello again. I'm frankly mortified, and I can't apologize enough. I mean, that's what I've got on my main script. On my.
I'm sorry, it's not funny. It's not funny at all.
That's what. Oh, you can't see that because the light's on.
Oh.
What?
I did tell him. Oh.
Thanks. Thanks. Right. Third time looking. Now I do have a gizmo.
It's a big Blair Witch Project. It is Christian. Stop doing that.
They're coming.
Stop it.
What?
It's horrible. Stop it.
What? But people are laughing, and by people I mean me.
Have you not got a holder somewhere?
I've got various little holders I've got about the place. Do you want to talk to them for a minute? Or shall I go on safari?
Just
right.
Take it with you.
Okay, I'm going to try and find something to prop up the mobile. Right, one of these things might work. Look, crimson shoes. Smallest feet in the world. Oh, yeah, that's gonna work. Maybe I should have gone live in landscape. Alright, this is Warhammer in action, this, folks.
Which project?
And if at some point I just randomly appear to tumble away, it's because Lemmy's run past and knocked over the camera / phone on a very top
looks
heavy.
Massive.
Do you know why that is? It's because my beard's massive. Look, it touches my forehead.
Needs cutting.
It doesn't need cutting until it matches my hairline.
Paul.
No, it does need a trim. Need an inch off the bottom. Now, I can't see the chats. This is very disconcerting. So I'm totally reliant on you now. Totally reliant.
You can't see it at all?
No.
Oh, dear.
Got this other weird tripod thing that's just got bendy legs. Oh, it's come up now. Which faction in 40k has the best beards? The squats. So, a long time ago, in a studio very close to where I am now, I began a live stream. Then it broke. Then I began another live stream. That didn't even work to start with. And now I'm talking to you on my phone. I don't think we're going to do another live stream until we've resolved the issue.
It should be resolved. I'll get on it tomorrow.
Oh, cool. Cool. Coolington. So, where was I up to? I don't know. Sorry, I restarted my computer, which means I closed the window down that I had open, and I needed that for the thing I was going to ramble about. Because I'm going to go deep, straight into the ramble now, straight in.
Straight in,
Straight
go
in.
for it, yes.
Straight in, yeah.
Go on.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah. Right, so... Oh, where's the thing God I wanted to talk about? Come on! Don't do this to me! You evil swine!
It was on there, wasn't it?
It was on there, but I restarted the pooter.
Oh, right, okay.
The whole pooter.
Oh dear.
So... Right, so the thing I would say I was going to ramble about today, but it's the thing I'm going to start rambling about. I don't think there's enough of this for a full-blown ramble. Probably just as well, because 20 minutes have been lost on scrap code in the machine. You can't see it, but Lemmy is right here. Right here. There you go. Isn't here? Isn't here? Isn't here? Hello? Can I get you to say hello to your adoring fans? Do you think? Is that going to be possible? By moving the thing? No, all we get is your bum. Right. Come on. Here they are. Here they are. Here they are. No, you're just running. All right. Give that up as a bad job. So, for those of you who are Warhammer players, because that's most of us. So, how to start this thing? So there's been a lot of... Everyone who is heavily into the Warhammer 40Ks knows that over the course of the last, let's say, 5 years, there's been a not... Oh, Kev, you shouldn't have super chatted. I've super chatted again. I'm sorry, man. Rockfest when? Well, I'll tell you what, we will have to nominate a lifestyle consultant to arrange some kind of rock get-together. And maybe that's something that we can discuss in the Discord, because if we rely on me, it's never going to happen, because my head is so full of other things. I barely feel like my head feels like it's ringing with a bell at the, the bell on head. Bang, 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 bang. But yeah, that'd be cool to just chill out somewhere to some really good late 90s, early noughties rock tunes with good folk. Yes. Tail alert. No, it's got... Keep those... Right, I'm having to hold the tripod with my left hand now because Lemmy sprawled out. She's doing the thing where she kicks her legs at anything that gets in her way. Still no sponsorship deal. So, the 40k players amongst you will know that there's regular viewers of the channel will know that sometimes I lose the ability to talk. And generally when that happens in a pre-recorded video, I do actually edit that out. Well, not so much edit it out as the entire clip. I just go, I can't use that. I can't even speak. And I delete it and I do one where I can actually talk. But sometimes it happens when I go live. My brain has been full of Kakumbabo. All right. Now it doesn't. Now my phone's beeping and that's disconcerting. So, for a long while now, GW has been balancing 40k for match play purposes and for competitive purposes and for tournament purposes.
Have you got the volume on in Discord? Because it keeps bleeping. I know your phone has, but Discord keeps bleeping. Have you got Discord up?
Discord keeps bleeping.
Yeah,
that's
stop it.
it's a lot harder to turn it down.
Right, okay, 'cause it keeps bleeping.
I think I can mute the...
It's a bit off.
If I could have deafened say hi, Paul. Which I think... Is it sorted?
I think so, yeah.
Right, okay. So sorry, thread twisted. Gotta catch it again. It's flapping around. Gotta catch it. To balance the 40Ks. And they've done various different things. I mean, back in the day, they used to just do, you know, they'd do the updates when they release the codices, or sometimes there'd be a couple of additions between that. But over 8th ed, they did the chapter approved once a year, which I think they then changed to every half a year for points balancing or things. Do you know, I didn't end up paying a huge amount of attention because it ceased being relevant to the games I was playing, but you know, they did that a lot. And recently there has been a lot of balancing 40K. They're doing a lot of stuff that happens very often, and a lot of it is detailed rules changes, or lots of points changes, or stats changes, and increasing this and decreasing that this doesn't work and that doesn't work. They've even structured the books to allow that to be easier. So, for example, back in 8th, the likes of the Space Wolves had their own codex, and there will be some units in that book that were also in other books, and if they wanted to tweak those, they had to do it in a number of different places because those factions all have their own books. Now, all the common stuff is in one book, and the unique stuff goes into different books. So, they've even taken that approach. Now, yesterday, they released a match play balancing battle scroll for Age of Sigmar match play, and I read it and I thought the difference in approach to balancing Age of Sigmar was quite interesting, and not necessarily better or worse because we all have our own perspectives, but just different. And I wanted to ramble about that for a while. So it's called Battle Scroll The Hunt, and it's downloadable on the GW community site, and it introduces two concepts: priority targets and prime hunters. So there's a list of priority targets, which I'll come on to, and if any given unit that you use, if any unit that's listed as a priority target is destroyed in a battle, it gives a number of victory points to the person that killed it from a list. There's a reward list, and it's either 1 or 2. I don't think there's any that's greater than 1 or 2. Yeah, no, it's just 1 or 2. And those represent pretty tough units, and anyone playing against them, you get an extra point for killing them. So there is a disadvantage to spamming the really hard units because your opponents get extra points when they kill them. Now, I'm not too up on match play in Age of Sigmar because I've never actually played it. I've only ever played open play in AOS. But I infer the number of points is much lower. It's not like 40k where it's like 15 a round, 30 a round, something like that. AOS, I think it's like 2 or 3 a round, so an extra point for killing something is quite significant. Then they have prime hunters, and some factions or sub-factions may be prime hunters. If a prime hunter kills a priority target, they get an extra victory point. So if you're playing as a prime hunter and you destroy a priority target, and that priority target is worth 2 points, then you will gain an extra 3 victory points. The idea being that these units are really powerful, and the prime hunters faction or sub-faction are relatively weak. So it's a big deal for a prime hunter to take out a priority target. That's basically it. And so it's got them listed by the Grand Alliances. I will nip through them because I think it's interesting. So prime hunters in the Alliance of Order are Sylvaneth. So any Sylvaneth unit in match play that takes out an enemy prime target will gain 2 points. The prime targets in the Grand Order are Dracothian Guard Fulminators. I have seen those quite a bit. Storm Drake Guard, so flying raptors, flying dragons with riders on them. Vanguard Raptors with long strike bows, or are otherwise known in the community Discord as those so-and-sos that just delete stuff. I'm paraphrasing there. So you now get an extra point for killing a unit of those. A couple of units of Lumineth Realm Lords, Huracan and Severeth. A couple of units of what are the Dark Elves called now? Not Daughters of Cain or Brides of Cain, or the... Oh, they've got a name. The sort of the snake Dark Elves. And then a couple of the not Sylvaneth, the Lizard Men, the Salamander Hunting Pack, and the Bastiladon with Solar Engine, which I've seen in a couple of I saw in one battle report on Mini Wargaming, just obliterated stuff. So that's why it's on it. So it's considered to be overpowered. You get an extra point for killing it. Grand Alliance of Destruction, the Gloomspike Gits, and the Uruk Warclan's Bone Splitters. Just the Bone Splitters are prime hunters. And the priority targets are Mega Boss on Maw Crusher. So he's nasty. And 3 different types of Mega Gargant from the Behemat faction. Grand Alliance of Chaos. Be'lakor is a prime target, as is Fate Weaver, as are units of Horrors, and a Demon Prince of Khorne with a Mark of Khorne. And the Prime Hunters, Head Knights of Slaanesh and Skaven. Interestingly, not Beastmen. I thought Beastmen would have been on there. And Grand Alliance of Death. There are no priority targets, but Prime Hunters, all the Nighthaunt and the Ossiarch Bone Reapers are all Prime Hunters. So this feels like a very elegant way of... Right, hang on. That's not the computer, that's my phone.
Not. I know it is.
And the phone would normally have no audio, but I'm using it, so it's a problem. Can you all still hear me? I've just tapping the thingy. Has the tapping affected the listeny? Oh, I realised I asked the question both positively and negatively. Can hear. Excellent. Thank you. You spotted the flaw in the way I had phrased my question. But the thing this brought home to me was the stark contrast with 40k, in that 40k is about making each individual rule balance and each point and units and so on, and it's a massive swirling tinkering with lots and lots of separate levers, whereas this is just which armies are underpowered, right? They're all prime hunters. Which units feel overpowered? These ones, right? They're all priority targets. So everyone gets an extra point for killing them, and do you know what? Prime hunters get 2. So if you're playing Nighthaunt and you end up taking out some Fulminators or some Vanguard Raptors, that's a much, much bigger deal. And I guess in some instances, might incline your opponents to not take them, or take fewer of them. So yeah, let me know what you think in the chat. That's just seemed really super streamlined. I mean, it doesn't really affect me because I don't do much play, even in AOS. But yeah, one page, not a lot of numbers to remember. Just these units are really hard. These factions are a bit underpowered. Here's 1, 2, 3. How you resolve it? Supers. Yeah, it's not a full ramble's worth. Any questions for you to read out for me? Or are we...
I'll give them to you because there's quite a few.
Oh, you're not reading them?
No, there's a few, and I've just not caught up. So
okay.
You crack on.
Okay. So Heck Schmidt, I hope I pronounced that correctly. I'm relatively new to all this stuff. Have only looked at the Orcs and Death Guard. Okay. Was there another one that followed that later on? Have you seen?
No.
No. Okay. They're good factions to play. Neither of them are particularly complex in terms of the way the codices work. They're both a lot of fun. They're easy to get your head around from a lore point of view. Orcs just want to fight. Death Guard just want to spread disease. Their units are relatively intuitive to use, I would say. So I think either of those is a good option. They're both quite good from a painting point of view. If you haven't got a lot of experience, because they're both armies that can look a bit bedraggled. So actually, if you've not got quite so many neat bits and bobs with your painting, it doesn't look out of place because the army's kind of meant to look like that. So those are good ones. Those are good ones. If there was something specific you wanted me to comment on, please drop it in and we'll see what we can do. Then Marv, if I upgrade the Dreadnought with the March of the Ancients to a character, is he still core, or will he lose the core keyword? I have no idea. I would hope that's covered in the FAQ of the Iron Hands supplement. If it isn't, well, I don't think any characters are core, so I think logically it would lose it. But rules as written, if it doesn't say it loses it, it doesn't lose it, depending on whether you're following what you think is logical or whether you're following what you think the letter of the rules is. Yeah, I'd check the FAQ if I were you. Anthony Dale. Is there powerful units in Hunters that are also targets? I.e., this unit will screw the pooch, you're down points. Let's have a look. So, The prime targets in Grand Alliance of Destruction are from Giants and from Iron Jaws, and the prime hunters are Gloomspaggots and Bone Splitters. There's no overlap there, so you won't have a prime hunter target. Death, there are only prime hunters, so no target, so not there. The four things, let's have a look. One is Be'lakor is Slaves to Darkness, I believe. Might be wrong about that. Kairos is Tzeentch, Horrors is Tzeentch, Slaves to Darkness, Slaves to Darkness. The Prime Hunters are Head Knights and Skaven, so not there. And in the Grand Alliance of Order, what have we got? We've got Stormcast, we've got Lumineth, we've got the Dark Elves I can't remember the name of. Oh, you can't see my face. That's probably a positive. and Lizard Men, and all the Prime Hunters are still left. So no, there is no scenario where you have a prime target, a priority target in a Prime Hunters faction. So what I think I will do, because Crimson is doing a sterling job of... Oh no, I've been fed with more. Ed, I wanted to ask if you recommend what you recommend for...
Or do you want to read it? It's my writing, I would imagine. So he wanted to know what you recommend for making games more immersive. I get very immersed in the planning and build-up of the game, but when I play it, I struggle to make the game feel cinematic to me.
Okay. I guess there's some overlap there with narrating a battle report. What I find works for me is at various points I have to decide to stop and think, what just happened? And then describe it. So I go, and these Marines, all these bolts skewered their armor but had no effect, or the reason these orcs, none of the, if you roll a fistful of dice to wound an orc and you get very few wounds, sometimes you might say, and these orcs had holes blown out of them, but they're still staggering on and stuff like that. So at various points, take a pause, step back and go, what just happened story-wise? Before you move on to the next part of the game mechanic, do that. At least once per phase. So, it doesn't tend to happen so much in the movement phase, but definitely the likes of the psychic phase, shooting phase, the fight phase. I think, do we want to go through what happened there? Yes, and this unit ran in and shot this, and they all survived, and that maybe all the ones and twos they rolled because they were still disoriented from the teleport, and it's taking the time to stop and ask yourself what just happened is what helps with the immersion. That's what I have to do to actually film narrative battle reports, and it's a similar principle to immersing yourself in the game you're playing. Right, next one is from My Kevin.
And a heart.
And a heart.
Yeah.
Written by Crimson. Paul, what would you change to bring the Eldar back to Eldar, if you get what I mean?
Yeah, that's
to bring the Eldar... To bring me back to Eldar, or bring the Eldar
Bring the Eldar back to Eldar, it says. That's exactly what it says.
Okay.
But is there, if you want to ask him anything?
The Eldar back to Eldar, if you get what I mean. There's two bits to that. And I have had several rants on Eldar, and when people have seen me face to face, they know it's just the tip of the iceberg. There's two things, right? One is not the Eldar's fault. One is on account of 9th edition and the way 9th edition works, because the huge amount of power bloat.
They don't seem to be the same anymore.
The huge amount of power bloat is because of the 9th ed codex, the 9th ed game rule set. The reason why lots of things are AP -1 and AP -2, just flat, and some things being AP -4. And I could go off on a whole rant about that. I really could, but I'm not going to. So I think some of the things aren't necessarily the fault of the codex, because they've just been balanced for 9th edition in a what I consider to be a bad way. Dire Avengers being an example, they've been given an extra shot with their gun, and the gun is AP -2. So the gun has the same stopping power as a crack missile. No. just no. The Rend was fine. If you roll a 6 to hit, it goes to AP -3. That was fine. There was no problem with that. But that's a 9th ed thing, not specifically an Eldar thing. That's all over the place. It's everywhere. The thing that makes the codex feel a little bit bitter is it. I'm trying to think how best to phrase it. I get the very strong impression from reading it that they didn't give any thought when writing it to how it would affect the players of narrative armies. The move of Dire Avengers to Elites is a travesty against the narrative. If they had retconned the narrative, then I'd have disliked it, but I'd have been able to work with it. The change to that is just a nightmare as far as narrative play is concerned. It really is. It really is. Then things like the introduction of the Corsairs. So there's nothing sort of unbalanced, to use a popular phrase, with the Corsairs. But the way they've implemented them, if you want to take a course, you can't take Corsairs as compulsory troops. Now, I assume that's because they can be kitted out with some nice kit, and they don't want 3 units of Corsairs with all sorts of super powerful guns being the standard in competitive play. Okay, fine. But in narrative play, if you want to do a Corsairs army, you want to have a character that can lead them that isn't just Uriel. You want to be able to put them in transports. You want to be able to take Rangers with them, because Rangers will hang out with Corsairs at various times. There are all sorts of other vehicles and other things that the Corsairs could and would have. It wouldn't take much to make it a nice little narrative list. Or even say things like part of the Craftworld Yanden doctrine traits could be can take Corsairs as a troop's choice, as a compulsory troop's choice, because they've got very few living Eldar left, and mostly they tend to team up with Yanden's Raiders to kick stuff. It's things like that all the way through the codex. Little changes like that that have ripples on narrative play and how we build our narrative lists that feel right to us as narrative players, that just doesn't seem to be given any thought whatsoever. That's why it leaves a funny taste in my mouth. Speaking of which, no, hang on. This isn't a funny taste. Funny taste be gone with Gold Coke. Any more? No?
No.
Okay, let's...
Not now. Not at the minute, anyway.
Let's have a peek at Discord. If it actually... Oh, no. Why isn't it loading?
Maybe if you load Discord, the memory might disappear. Whoa, there's the sneezers.
Why is nothing coming up on Discord? Thank you. Why is there nothing? Sorry, it's behind the phone, you see. It's on my second monitor. You mentioned... All I've got is just blank screen. I mean, is this even on? This... Yeah, broadband needs kicking. Live stream topics. Come on. Can I have just a slither of connectivity, please? Connected, secured, but not loading. Been anywhere nice in your holidays? Anyone?
We've got the circle of doom. Is that because you're in Discord?
No, it's nothing to do with it whatsoever.
I've got a circle.
Circle of doom.
I did have it a second ago.
What's happening? Let's see if there's anything in the chat I can... Why shouldn't I buy another army, Paul? There are many reasons why you shouldn't buy another army. Maybe you should ask why you should buy the army you're thinking of.
There's a message there from Jules. Jules Ham. What are your thoughts on not using GW colours for factions?
Oh, I'm a... I am a die-hard narrativist. I think there's nothing wrong if you're playing Blood Angels. It's saying this is a successor chapter, and I'm going to paint them yellow or green or pink polka dotted. But if you say you're playing Blood Angels, they should look like Blood Angels to me. But everyone's different. It's not my 40k. Play your 40k your way. All right, I've got some of the thing now.
Are there any orcs in orange?
Evil Suns have orange flame, yellow and orange flames on them. Or are they just yellow? Evil Suns could be quite orange, I think, depending. Right, let me try working up from the bottom upwards. Second Born asks, what are your future plans for your AOS collection? Are there other armies other than the ones you already have that you're looking to expand into the pool, or are you sticking with what you have? Am I sticking with what I have? No. Not every faction appeals to me in AOS. The aesthetic and the background on some of them I'm not as keen on, so it's probably easier to tell you the ones that don't particularly appeal to me.
Jules has seen them with blue skins. With blue skin. Just before you offend anyone.
Not my cup of tea. Not my... Like I say, you do it your way, but if you're asking me about my preferences, I would never have the skin of an orc anything other than green.
No, not Jules has not done them like that.
He's seen them. Yeah.
Seen them like that. Yeah.
AOS factions I'm not so keen on. Ossiarch Bone Reapers. Nothing particularly grabs me about those. I do like I like the idea of the Giants list, but I'm not sure I'd ever do it. It's a little bit like Imperial Knights. Maybe not. Chaos, there's nothing I dislike about Chaos. So we'll probably end up with all those eventually. Lumineth Realm Lords, I have no interest in. And I'm really not keen on Deepkin. I just cannot suspend my disbelief for long enough to have flying sharks. Everything else, more or less, I quite like. There are some which I'm not likely to do soon because other people I know do them, and it's better to have variety. Oh dear. It's better to have variety. So the people I play regularly, I'm unlikely to duplicate their armies quickly. Saying that, maybe I don't know. But yeah, I like lots of them. So Immortan Joe asks, when or can an army book go too far or not far enough in terms of variety, e.g. Fire Slayers compared to Stormcast, Harlequins compared to Space Marines? Is there a minimum requirement or a cap to what an army should have available? I find the Stormcast book to be a bewildering array of lots and lots and lots of things, and it takes a lot of digging and research to work out what is actually what and how it all fits into the big picture. I imagine if I didn't know a lot about the Space Marines and have picked it all up as it's all been added, I would have the same problem with the Space Marines Codex. Conversely, Harlequins Harlequins don't have a lot of variety, but I don't necessarily see a big problem with that. I don't see a problem with the Harlequin troop being the main thing in the Codex. I mean, there is lots of other stuff they could do. I once had the notion of a giant marionette, like a Wraith Lord equivalent, which I quite like that. I quite like the idea of. But then there's not been a 40k faction where I've gone, goodness me, they do not have enough variety to do this. Whereas in AOS, Flesh Eater Courts are one that I've had a moderate amount of exposure to, and there just does not feel like there's enough variety in that army to make it feel different when different occasions you play against it. One battle line unit, which are just ghouls, no variation, and depending on what option you take, one of the two elite choices can be your battle line. The battle line are dreadful, and the elite choices are brick hard, and everything else is either a character or a monster. By and large, I might be missing a few bits out here or there, but you have to have a lot. But then again, you could argue that it's part of the Grand Alliance of Death. So in AOS, it's a little bit different. You can quite legitimately say, oh, there are these allied units in the allying system in AOS is great. It's really, really effective for narrative storytelling. So maybe not. There are some of the AOS ones that feel like they don't have enough basic variety. Okay. Oh, question here from Crimson.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there is. I forgot about that.
List of questions here from Crimson.
Yeah, that's true. There is, yeah.
Okay. I have a question. When there is no more room in the house, what plan has Say Hi Paul got for an extension to the house to house the plastic crack? I'm going to go down.
Pardon?
I'm going to go down. In
Really?
the garden.
Oh, yeah.
Get your mind out of the gutter. So I'm gonna excavate the garden, and
Okay.
I'm gonna get shipping crates sunk under the lawn.
Right.
With an access hatch, kind of like a bunker. I'm going to build bunkers.
That could come in very handy at some point.
Yes, it could.
But it could be full of plastic cracks and we'll not even get in. So if you hear the airtight warning,
I live my life my way.
Throw out the plastic crack.
Throw away my children.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wondered. Because you never really give me an answer. So I thought I'd put it in there.
Bear in mind the shed roof is leaking. You never genuinely ask. Bearing in mind the shed roof is leaking and we will soon be putting the hot tub back up. Also bear in mind I'm on first name terms with all the delivery drivers and they often pop in for coffee.
There's that many of them.
I know the UPS guy. I know the postie.
Know him.
Well, I know him.
Been out for a meal with him. I know him on first name terms.
I'm the Hermes person, but they're not my friend anymore after they shoved a parcel behind a hedge and never told me it was there.
I found it.
You did. It was like days later. If it had been... Anyway.
I just wondered, that's all.
Is there a mechanic that you would import from... Sorry, Kaiman asks, is there a mechanic that you would import from AOS? And if so, what would that mechanic be? And if not AOS, maybe a mechanic from a different DW system that you have experience with. There are lots of things in AOS that I would introduce into 40k. The notion of just being within 3 inches or not being within 3 inches, never mind being locked up or you didn't charge or you connected with them or you've tagged them into combat. It's like, no, if you're within 3 inches of them, they can activate. End of. I also like the you just make your charge roll and then see how far you get and then pick your target. It just saves so much time and messing about. So, oh, should I do this? Oh, should I do that? So you just roll the dice. You roll the dice and get on. I like the way most of the command points are things that happen in every turn. So there are command points for the hero phase, for the movement phase, for the shooting phase, for the fight phase, for the battle shock phase. And there are relatively few, but they have a real effect on the battle, and they have they're very, very tactical to use. It's a very tactical game, AOS. Admittedly, sometimes you are just shoveling models off with a spade, but you expect that if a dragon piles into them. But a lot of it can be really tactical. And I like that. And there's not an awful lot of other things to spend those command points on. Some of the older battle terms have got things that are command point activated, but by and large, or certainly all the newer ones as they're being refreshed, that's just a game mechanic, and it works really well. There's probably a lot else, but I think I will I will curtail the AOS love there, because proper into that at the moment. How are we for questions? Are we any more?
I'm answering them, it's fine.
You answer it.
Yeah, it's fine. Well, they're all to me.
Oh, okay.
I'm only kidding. No, there aren't any more up to now.
Okay.
I read the ones out that there were, but there's no more up to now.
Okay, thank you.
I have said if anybody's got a question, pop it in there.
Yarp. So I think.
Oh, there's another one there. If we're taking general questions, can you see it?
It's just
What
faded up.
faction in AOS or 40k has your favourite lore?
Oh wow. Let's
Mix drop the M bomb. Merchandise.
Well, we need to talk about that, don't we?
Well, you keep saying this. Can you push in, please, people?
Can you actually come
On
around?
merchandise.
Can you actually come around when we talk about it on a non-live streaming
I've
night?
been around all day. You make me clean.
I have to work. Alright, in AOS, I really like the Stormcast Eternals. I think the more I listen to the stories about them and the things about them struggling with their memories, struggling with the fact that their souls have been usurped, albeit for a noble cause. Well, there's a lot of really good stuff there. 40k wise, there's a lot of choice. I mean, they're all really good. Favorite lore. I'm sorry, I can't choose. I'm a lore person.
There's a question there from Adrian.
If ignoring invulnerable saves represents a new mechanic for good or for ill, how would you add it to other factions? Should certain relics confer the ability? Well, if ignoring invulnerable saves is a thing, I guess you want it to be things like psychic powers or high technology or incredible skill at arms, like someone who can knows where to plant the weapon so it'll actually go in between the armor plates or break the fibers of a biosuit or whatever, or something that was basically psychic magic that would go through things, or technology that seems so close to magic as to make no odds.
Dave's got a question.
Dave's question.
Would you consider?
Would you consider writing your own narrative campaigns for others to play? Like better versions of the GW Games Workshop books? It's not something I have ever considered. I don't know if there would be any IP considerations with that. There probably would be. The closest I've come to that so far is the Crimson Ribbon event in June at Tabletop Events, to which there are still tickets available, which is available for
no merchandise, but tickets.
Yeah, there's merchandise. There is merchandise on the YouTube store.
Yeah, I know.
If you want to sort it out so much, arrange a time to come around and talk about it.
All right then, I will.
Good. That was great. The closest I've come is I'm running a narrative campaign in the summer at Tabletop Events, open to channel members. There's still some Imperial Guard tickets, some Chaos Demon tickets, and some Chaos Knights tickets available. But that's very much an event rather than a pack that someone could take away. Don't know about doing that. Like I said, there's probably some IP considerations.
Yes, Moog. Yeah, maybe I should ring you. Maybe. Maybe I should have a chat to Moog. Pop round and see him or something.
I don't know where this is coming from. This makes no sense.
I found another question. Oh yeah, it's there. Funny creature. In a world where fan. Can you see it?
In a world where fan supplements are banned, imagine if D&D did that. Yeah. Aye. And on that note, I think given we are at the 10 o'clock mark, I know we lost a good... Yeah.
Wow. That's gone quick.
Now hang on, we've got a membership thing. Day of Reckoner Murph member for 4 months.
Yay.
Can we get some dice with massive beardy channel logo for sixes, please?
Do you know? Yeah, I've looked at that. I've looked at the dice. I'll tell you later, but I've looked at the dice.
Okay, maybe not for the 6, maybe for the 1. We shall see. But the merchandise, I was going to say Maestro. Then I sort of said was going to go to Master, but then no, the feminine of Master is Mistress. Then I thought that might go a weird direction.
No.
So the merchandise Maestro is going to have a look at it.
I am.
And on that
and
note,
it's going to be great. I'm telling you. Presuming everybody likes pink, yeah.
Okay, we do need to talk. So, big thank you to everyone who has stuck with the live stream tonight with all the technical issues. Also, big thank you to everyone who super chatted. I believe I called everyone out at the time. Oh, we do have a list. Eldar Blog, Mick, Moog, Kevin Twice, and a Day of Reckoner Murph.
That's the guy that's just put.
Oh, that was his membership chat rather than a super chat.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Super chat as well.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't see that. Thank you very much. And maybe I did see it. Maybe I didn't connect the two. I read it out. Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Thank you to everyone who is a channel member, helping me work towards the hobby dream. You guys are awesome. Big thank you to Crimson. This would be much more chaotic without her stalwart administrative skills and heckling.
Obviously.
And much heckling.
You love it.
Take care, folks, and we shall see you in the next one. And I will say bye for now whilst I work out how to turn off the stream on the phone. Bye for now.
Bye.
That maybe? I think so.